Spoiler alert, I have opinions.
You can't even do that!
It's been a really wild journey to see one of my all-time favorite shows come to an end. Stranger Things was a show that reminded me why I loved genre storytelling. There was always endless possibilities for where each season could go, and it was another case where it didn't need to rely on previous IP or source material to generate hype. Stranger Things was great on its own terms, period. A perfect marriage between coming-of-age stories and a beautifully done 1980s time period to go along with tremendous fantasy. I love this show, and despite my thoughts on the series finale and the overall final season, I'm truly grateful to have enjoyed watching it. Of course, as I mentioned, I do have to address the elephant in the room with this most recent final season. I can confidently say that overall I didn't loathe the finale and think the Duffers are untalented hacks. That's wicked extreme and kind of rude. But honestly, I didn't love the finale either. I thought it was a finale with some tremendous moments. There were just too many loose ends and a redundancy with previous seasons that I didn't find all that necessary. I love the final battle with the Mind Flayer and seeing how that entity connected to Vecna and Will's journey. Having Joyce be the one that axed Vecna literally was so satisfying. Also, because the show is inspired by a bunch of fluffy 80s classic movies with happy endings, I was personally okay with some things being wrapped up in a bow. I didn't need a bunch of character deaths to feel something. Given the context of the show, it had to end this way in a sense. Overall, it had a lot of fun moments, and there were some great character moments that reminded me why I enjoyed this show as much as I did. But I can't deny that the amount of loose ends, or plot holes as the cool kids call them, were definitely present. There was no payoff with the military operation led by Linda Hamilton's character. And are we just going to assume that all the women who were impregnated with the super babies in the Upside Down are all destroyed just like the Upside Down was? Also, I appreciated what they were going for with Callie, not making the Season 2 episode feel like a throwaway and bringing her character back for this season. That all being said, I wish they had given her a little more to do. She used her powers at convenient moments, but she was a little one-dimensional, and sometimes I would forget she was there. She didn't move me as much as the other characters did, and I didn't really feel a lot when she got killed. There was a little something with Eleven being there in her final moments, but honestly, the season didn't really take as much time to make you care about that dynamic since there were other things at stake. Also, the thing I really didn't like about the finale, the more I think about it, was the way they handled Eleven. I think Millie Bobby Brown is a phenomenal actress and did a lot to develop the character throughout the entire series. But I hate that the fate of her character was reduced to a potential fake death. I just feel like that ploy has grown a little tired between Eleven in Season 1, Hopper in Season 3, and even Max to some degree in Season 4. If she felt like she couldn't be around because of the trouble her powers caused, why not just let her go into the exile in that faraway place she and Mike dreamed of instead of the sacrifice? Or if there's more emotional weight to it, have her tell the group after the final battle what her plans are and where she's going. And then Mike will say that he's leaving for good. Then the two of them can have their happy ending together. It would have been bittersweet, but it definitely would have hit me more. There are also more characters and things missing, like where the heck was Tammy, or even Susie? The absence of the Upside Down creatures like the Demogorgons and Demobats in the final battle. I'm sure there are things I'm missing, so if you want to pinpoint each inconsistency, there are TikToks, articles, and other YouTube videos, so have at it. Honestly, because of all the plot holes and strange choices in the series finale, the undertones felt a bit sinister, like it was a plot by Vecna all along. Now, I'm not one to go along with conspiracy theories, but the more I saw scrolling through TikTok about Conformity Gate, the secret finale of course I fell down the rabbit hole. I did carry it with a grain of salt, but the amount of theories I watched made a lot of sense. And if the Duffers did pull this off and add just one extra episode to tie up even more loose ends, and that Vecna really won the previous finale, but now it's going to take even more effort to finish things off, it seriously would have changed the landscape of TV as we know it. I mean, imagine you see a theater screen for the current finale, but then Netflix and the Duffers pull the rug out from under you and add a new screening for the real finale, since the one you just watched was at the hands of one of the biggest mind-melding villains of all time. That would have floored me. But for the finale we've got, I can't say it floored me in that sense. I'm grateful the finale had its sweet moments, and I love all these characters and cast members so much, but I was a little underwhelmed by it playing it too safe. in the end, we were left with a mega happy ending that could have resolved more character fates and added to the overall climax of the series. Not to mention that the build-up to the finale with the previous 3 episodes, Volume 2 as it was called, felt underwhelming. It introduced really interesting concepts that could have changed the entire landscape of the series, but it didn't fully embrace them, and they kind of felt like they were just there. For example, the wormhole concept is cool, but it seemed like no one really cared that much about it being there, or better yet, how Vecna created the Upside Down through it. I could go on. I get that with TV shows and even movie franchises, it can be quite hard to end things and tie up all the loose ends. That all said, I would rather the writers take as much time as needed to give us the best possible ending that will leave us wanting more, rather than a lack of emotional depth and a paint-by-numbers ending we've seen a million times before. It wasn't necessarily a bad finale, and it could have been a lot worse, but for the emotional ride this show pulled, and pulling a stunt like the Conformity Gate conspiracy, it definitely would have felt more in line with the Stranger Things that I loved. Having twists and turns we don't see coming, while also being horrified for the fate of our characters, and then finally seeing said characters pull things off when things are most impossible, which of course leaves us beyond satisfied. I just wish the finale fully embraced that concept. But when it comes to rewatching the entire series, I'll still enjoy everything for what it is. A show like Stranger Things earns that type of new ending.
You lie!